Derivatives of quotients. Finding the derivative of f over g of x when g of x is not equal to 0. Option 1. Use the formula. It's simple enough, but it's a little hard to remember where the derivatives go, where the negative sign goes, and so on. So the derivative with respect to x of f over g is the derivative of the first function, or the numerator, df of x dx, times the denominator minus the first function times the derivative of the denominator over the denominator squared. Example, find the derivative with respect to x of sine of x over e to the x. Well, the derivative of sine of x, the numerator, is cosine x, times the denominator, e to the x, minus the numerator, sine x, times the derivative of the denominator, e to the x, divided by e to the x squared. This can easily be simplified by factoring out e to the x and canceling with one of e to the x's in the denominator to cosine x minus sine x over the e to the x. Option 2, the product rule and chain rule used together. The derivative of f of x over g to the x is the derivative of the first function times the denominator function as raised to the negative first power. So we can use the product rule. So we got the derivative of the first function, f, times the second function raised to the negative 1 power, plus f times the derivative of the second denominator function raised to the negative 1 power. So the next, there it is. The next thing we would do is plug the functions in, sine x and e to the x. The derivative of the sine is the cosine of x. And here we have e to the x to the negative 1 power, g to negative 1, plus the numerator, sine x. And when we take the derivative of e to the x to the negative 1 power, we get negative 1 e to the negative 2 power times the derivative of e to the x. So we take the function e to the x and have it to the form of negative first power. So we have a chain rule going on right here. That's not hard to see that what we end up with is e to the negative x here, e to the negative x here, and so we would end up with cosine x minus sine x all over e to the x, and it would simplify exactly as the output. I find option 2 easier because I just go left to right since it is going straight through. However, the chain rule is usually not available when a student reaches the quotient rule. For that reason, when I would teach calculus, I would have to cover the quotient rule and then explain to them they did not have to follow that if they wanted option 2 later. Also, the end results of the two options are not always equally simplified, if that is important. I have training in both math and physics, and I can tell you in math it's usually considered important by your instructor. In physics, they may not care at all.